episode. We're very excited to have Laura on today. So we're getting unstuck with Misfits Unplugged, the podcast that celebrates the journey of career rebels who have overcome challenges, blazed their own paths, and came out of the other side winning. Today, our special guest and the career rebel we're going to be shining a light on is Laura Fazio, a real estate agent at Third Base Real Estate. Laura has proven herself to be an exceptional professional. Not only was she my realtor, but she also stood out as patient, kind, highly informative, and an incredible support system around her in the entire process. And before Laura was in real estate, she's an avid animal lover, showing her compassion extends beyond the realm of business. When she's not finding dream homes for her clients, she's also kicking her way throughout her kicking classes in CKO and freehold, showcasing her fierce determination and passion. So we're going to jump on in today. Laura, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So want to jump in. So you are a career changer. So you started off in medical coding and working with animals, and now you're an entrepreneur. So can you shed a little bit of clarity of like how you made that decision?
Well, I started my life working with animals. That was my first thing. And then I decided that I needed to start making some money. So I went to the medical coding career, and it was great for a little while. I worked at NYU first for about 6 months, but the commute was not okay. It was a lot. I had my boss commuting in with me as well. And so I had no time for myself. And after a while, I decided I'm not good for a desk job. I need to be out and about. I started my career with animals. And so I was on my feet talking to people, helping them and their animals out. And so I was always interested in homes and just the beauty of them. So I was like, well, why don't I just kind of go be a real estate agent and help people find their dream homes? And you're out talking to people, meeting people. It's just a different lifestyle, not just being stuck, in an office.
That's interesting. And I always want to know because I'm sort of a career changer in a way, but there's always that thing, that impetus that makes you, want to change within the challenge that you kind of encountered that you didn't really know that you were going to encounter when you made that change. So what kind of challenges did you have to overcome when shifting from your first career, actually your first and second career in animal loving and medical coding, into real estate?
So I think the real pusher for me too was the last coding job I had was for a plastic surgery center, and then COVID happened. And so I was there only for a couple of months, really. I think I started in October, and then COVID happened in March of the following year. And so we all got kind of thrown to work at home. And so that was the first time that I was working from home, and just having somebody over your shoulder all the time. What are you doing? Just you have to be held accountable for everything. And, work was getting done, but it was really difficult. And then my father actually got sick with cancer. And so I knew that we were being pushed to go back into the office. This was really my push to do real estate, like to do something else. So while I was still working from home and, doing the coding during the day, at night I was taking the courses for the real estate, because I knew that I did not, especially at that time, I did not want to go back to the office and be with everybody when COVID was so rampant, and my dad was home going through cancer, that like I didn't want to be around people. So I guess, it kind of was, it was a little bit more difficult because everything was done online. Even the classes were all done online, and you could easily just just think about something else. You don't focus on that.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to focus on everything, but I did it. And and then passing the test. I didn't pass it the first time. I passed it the second time, but the first time my cat passed away on me the night before. And it was so that threw me off. So I guess there have been lots of challenges,
Sure.
here. So, but here I am.
I was going to say, I don't pass a test on any test on the first time. I can write papers and I could do research for hours and write a 30-page paper, but if I have to take a test, I'm pretty crappy at it because I get so nervous and then I go back and I change my questions and then I'm like, oh, if I would have went with my first gut answer, I would have passed. So
Always second guessing.
I always second guess myself on the test. So I'm right there with you. And a lot of the folks that we have talked to have pivoted in their career because of COVID. It like propelled everyone to make a change that they've had in the back of their head and been considering. So COVID was absolutely a terrible time, but for a lot of folks, it gave them a platform to change and find where they were the best at. Um, alongside Brandy's question about making the transition, so tell us about the transition into entrepreneurship, though. So now you are in real estate, and a first-time entrepreneur, from what we hear here. So, what were some of the challenges earlier on for anyone who's listening and they're thinking about changing from a 9 to 5 to a, you know, 40? I mean, I don't know what the hours are for entrepreneurs. For Brandy and I, it's what, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Seriously.
It never stops.
Yeah.
That's the scary part, I feel like, because, all right, so in real estate, you don't get paid unless you make a sale. So you have to you can make as much or as little as you are driven, really. And so, sometimes it was a little scary initially because, you're used to a paycheck every week or every other week. And now it's like, okay, there's not one. But that it's coming, as long as you get out there. So I think that's in the career that I changed to. I think that's probably the more or one of the challenges is, just kind of going to consistent pay and health insurance, being paid for by a company to you're on your own, pretty much. Definitely a learning curve. And I don't know that I'm necessarily there yet, but I'm still working on it, just to kind of balance life and bills and career and everything, make it work because I want this to work. I love it. So far.
Gotcha. Well, so I want to pivot just a little bit because we're talking a lot about your transition. And when I think about transition, I always think about like transferable skills. Like, what is it about each one of us that kind of travels with us wherever we go, regardless of whatever? It could be in your friend groups. We call it assets as part of our ABCDs guide. And it's sort of identifying those like natural skill sets that automatically come to you that you're really, really good at, that kind of travels with you in different groups. So if you could identify one or two of your assets or natural skill sets that has traveled with you that's allowed for some success, what would you say?
I would say I probably got a lot of compassion from working with the animals. You're working, it's not always happy. There's a lot of sadness, or there's a lot of like struggle with working. You're not only working with puppies and kittens and all the fun stuff, that there's, sickness and that happens, but it has made me a compassionate person. And I feel like in the real estate business, it's just dealing with people and understanding the changes that they're going through, or, just the struggle, because the market's not very easy at the moment. I keep saying compassion, but compassion and
empathy. Is that a word?
And what I'm thinking of is patience, I guess, too. Because it's not just a 5-minute thing. I mean, we know, Isabel.
Brandy just closed not too long ago too. So it's a hard process. And without working with a realtor, that is everything you just mentioned. It makes it makes the process smoother, So I agree with you. Empathy, patience, compassion, understanding. We were out there looking for houses from snowstorms, rain, to the sunniest, hottest days, because we were almost a year looking for a house. So I can agree. All of those and more.
Yes, we went through everything. And also, I think that it brought me out of my shell a little bit because, I mean, just growing up, I was shy. I still can be shy and quiet. And, then I went from that to working with people one-on-one, with their animals. And I kind of had that buffer. The animals were the buffer. And it got me to, just talking to people and finding out. And so I think that's taken me here too. I also found that I was, making friends with the clients and their animals because we all have a common thing. And I feel, in real estate too, you're spending a lot of time together. You're spending hours on the phone, in person. You know a lot about one another, and we've become family. It's a big process. So I think that I've taken that with me throughout.
Yeah, I would think customer service as well, as I'm thinking back and reflecting back on the entire real estate process. All of those things are what made you a strong realtor for us, because it was the unknown. We had no clue what the hell we were doing. We kind of knew what we wanted. We kind of knew our budget. We kind of knew the area, but we knew nothing else. And I wanted to say, just reflecting on what you're saying, is being informative, being honest, like, hey, I don't know this, but I will get you the answer to that, was helpful. Always being available to us. And then just being supportive, even when we were like apologizing profusely for seeing a house that on the internet looked amazing. Then you show up to the house and it's like not amazing.
What the hell is this?
Oh my God. The things that they can do with houses these days, like it looked like rainbows and unicorns. And you get to the house and it looked like some kind of a shack. But I would be apologizing profusely. And Laura's like, it's okay. It's all right. No worries. This is a haunted house, but it's okay.
You don't know until you get there, and we're together, and it's fun. You make it fun. You guys, you know what? I learned so much from you guys as well. And just I'm thankful for you coming on with me, being fairly new and just trusting me. And so, it was just a great mix, the two of us. I feel like I learned a lot from you guys as well. So I thank you.
Yeah, and we were probably the most low maintenance people ever. Even though my husband would say otherwise, but we were pretty low maintenance. We were like, we just need, doors and walls, and that's it. So, one of the things that I reflect back on, Laura, we talked about you being newer in the real estate space. Would you tell anyone that's moving into this? Because I know a lot of folks that want to go into entrepreneurs think about real estate. Now, I know that third base real estate is where you are currently, but you had a stopping point at a different firm. Would you suggest going independently and learning underneath someone, or joining a group like third base real estate that is more of what I see from the outside, like a family and a support system, that each one has a different level of knowledge and expertise? Like, how would you think that for someone brand spanking new?
I think it's good to be on a team for many different reasons. You do get the support, like you said. You also get, part of it is just like the referrals, or just the, you hope that your team leader, can help you out and give you some leads. But initially, you essentially want to do it yourself. And I want to be able to find my own business, because I don't want to have to depend on anybody. I want to be the support for them as well, like that we all support each other. I think the benefit of being on a team is you have so much support. If you can't make it to a showing or any of that, you have other people that can help you out. It's because in the school too, you don't learn all the stuff that you really need to be a real estate agent, right? Just the day-to-day activities that you need to do. Just, how do you find the leads, and how do you get yourself noticed, and all that. That you just kind of, you either know it or
winging it, or
and that's where I think a team helps you out as well. Just especially if, let's say, you've just moved into the area and you want to change careers, or you were a stay-at-home mom for so long and you're like, okay, let me do something. I want to get back out there into the career world, and that's flexible enough that I can do real estate and still be a mom at home. it would be hard, I would think, going and doing it on your own. I think you do need that support. And I think any agency will help you, but just the team, it's just, I don't know. I like the whole concept of having a team behind you, and just that, the moral support, that everything you have a sounding board, really.
Mhm.
We have a group chat that if we have a question or we need advice on something, we all go on there, and it's kind of like a little mastermind, just
Mhm. Mhm. I think that we can identify with that, Izzy, with like working in insurance. It's a very similar setup. And I know me working with producers for many, many years, and when I'm talking producers, I'm talking insurance agents for people who don't understand the insurance, but I always tell, people who want to get into life insurance that, as much as I kind of grew out of the career system, so to speak, once I figured it all out, I really do recommend it for young agents who, don't really know a whole lot about the insurance industry. Because career systems can a lot of times, show you stuff, like you said, that you wouldn't necessarily know on your own. That's really, really industry specific, just in terms of how to market yourself, how to get leads and all that good stuff. So I can identify with that a lot.
We talked about your career, a few years ago to now, but can you identify a pivotal moment like in your life that made you the professional that you are today? Is there anything that you overcame that you want to share, or something specific you think about, like this situation was what put me on a path to be ambitious and try different things and just keep pushing?
when you're young, you think about, what your life is going to be like. You're in your early 20s, you're going to get married, have children, all that kind of stuff. Well, that didn't happen.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, I want to be able to take care of myself and not
Mhm.
have to worry about, somebody else taking care of me. So I always wanted to just know that no matter what happens, I, have a career and I have something that I can support myself, and I don't have to rely on anybody else.
Mhm.
So I think that that's very important. I think for women too, because you have no idea what's going to happen.
Sure. We talk about a lot with like people who are in transition, or our clients or students are who are still trying to figure out like who they want to be, kind of like when they grow up. And there's all this talk, there used to be this talk about how you really, really need to find your niche in order for you to stand out. And that's whether you're working for somebody or if you're in entrepreneurship. So my question is there any specific niche that you want to focus on, or any group of home buyers that you'd like to focus on that you think that you could give your full attention and value to? Or are you kind of like,
I love,
everybody?
Isabel was, I love first time home buyers.
Okay.
It's special being in that process.
Mhm.
It's what do I say, Isabel, all the time? You're not buying a pair of jeans. It's not a pair of jeans that you're buying. Like, a big thing, and it's important, and you want to love it, and it's just like seeing the excitement and just you know what can be of a life. It's just so nice to just experience it with somebody, and it's I love it. So that's my
Cool.
I was gonna say, being a first-time homeowner is definitely an emotional process. You feel like it's your first marriage, your first kid, a first of anything, right? So, that experience of signing and being like, "Holy cow, I own something!" Like, wow,
Mhm.
you worked hard and you got something that is your own, or is a very emotional process. Well, at least for me, it was. I don't know about Brandy. Brandy is a
It
slow
was
burner,
definitely.
but I signed that paper, and then when I said goodbye to Laura, I was like, "Oh my god, this feels like a breakup. Am I never seeing you again?" And she was reassuring me. She's like, "No, we're family," And it's been a year, I think, plus now. So she was very true. We are still very much in contact, and
Mhm.
a sounding board on now local things like where do I eat and what do I do, and
love
um
sharing information with you.
Yeah, so being a first time homeowner, I can definitely attest to that. It being a very intimate process, and I think it requires a specific type of person to help you and guide
Which
you.
sounds like you. I mean, it sounds like, all of the crumbs of your life and the things that like you care about, being caring and patient and all of that good stuff really, really fits with the first time home buyer experience, really. So
Great.
kudos.
I love it. I love it. I just,
Mhm.
And you're not completely out of the animal and giving back world. So my next area would be you're balancing this like, going 100 miles per hour as an entrepreneur and always looking at your next lead prospect by managing people you have in the pipeline and so on. But what do you do to maintain, your mental health strong and staying positive? Because I know you as a very positive person. So what does your routine look like that promotes that?
no, I'm not always positive.
So, well, I've heard you talk about some of the not so nice clients. So, but for the most part,
Honestly, as crazy as it sounds, the gym. I need the gym for
Okay.
my mental health. If I like, that's my outlet. And so, I generally start the day with that. And then that kind of keeps me clear headed and then just focused and just knowing that I do love to spend time like in nature with the animals and stuff. So I'll do that in the morning. And
Mhm.
that just kind of starts my day
Mhm.
on a good note, usually.
yeah, Laura's the sweetest person, and she starts her day by kicking the shit out of bags at the gym. She gets out all of her frustration. And
There's something to that. I should
yeah,
probably start doing that myself.
And it's only a 30-minute class, and then we can go eat after.
Yay.
I'm gonna go have a burrito right
Just
now.
Working out, isn't it?
say.
Okay, so our last question we usually ask before we say goodbye is, what advice would you give yourself, either your younger self or the Laura starting her career in real estate? Any advice or words of wisdom that you would share?
Yes. Focus on you. Don't let the background noise get to you. Just kind of put your blinders on and do what you need to do. Just growing up too, I was a social butterfly, and I should have really focused more on myself initially,
Mm.
because that starts you to just do it continuously as you get older. And just you don't have to worry about you because nobody else is going to. So, let's block out the noise and focus on yourself, what makes you happy and what's going to get you through life.
I love that. That's
Thank you. And Laura, if folks wanted to reach out to you in the New Jersey area, where can they find your information, your social media or email, anything that you wanted to add?
You can find me on Instagram at Listings with Laura Faz. Or you can just find me on Facebook at Laura Fazio. I'm public, so anyone can find me. And my email address is lfazio27@gmail.com.
Perfect. Well, all of
awesome.
your information.
Yes, we
for-
also, Third Base, we have a YouTube channel as well. So
Oh,
yeah, you
awesome.
guys are like way too cool for
Big
me.
deal.
They have like cartoon characters for each member of the team.
That's
Plus, now you
awesome.
guys are doing video listings of all of your openings that are so nice. Like there's like aerial shots, and then you're going into the home. You guys are definitely next level. It looks really good. It makes me like really eager for home number 2.
thank you. Want to see my cartoon? We have a thing for my cartoon. I can show you.
Yeah. See, I
Nice.
love it.
Thank you.
That's cool. That's so cool. Absolutely.
Everything in the description for everyone to be able to contact you if they're local. I will stop
Pause.
recording. But thank you so much.